Hello. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded anything. I actually had another video that I was working on, and I wanted to upload it today, but then this happened last night.
I love you. G.I. Jane 2. Can't wait to see it. All right? that was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to just push that one back a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about this. So here we go. Now, I know there's a lot of takes on this situation being shared online. You can go on Twitter, you can go on TikTok, you can probably come here on YouTube. By the time I upload this, there'll be dozens and dozens of videos for people to watch. You can go on Instagram, you can go, I know this morning, if you watch the show or you listen to media around the show, I know the Breakfast Club talked about it. And I know even as I record this right now, there are probably new developments into the situation. But all of that aside, I just want to talk about what that moment when Will Smith stood up and defended his wife and comments made about her hair, which is actually the result of her having alopecia. When he did that, what that did for me as a Black woman who has also in her lifetime experienced mockery and critiques and has oftentimes been the only one in the room to stand up for herself. So before I get into that, let's just talk about the optics of the night and what happened. If you're unaware, this occurred at the Academy Awards. Now, I was not even watching the Academy Awards. I couldn't care about anything less. Ever since they took a step away from like really recognizing commercial movies to only recognizing, very independent, highbrow, sweeping dramas. And, I think there's a place for that. But I remember when I was a younger child, when I was growing up, the Academy Awards weren't just a place for, you had to make a really, really intense independent film about leaves changing color in Wisconsin or something. But you could make a movie that was a big blockbuster hit that people loved, like Forrest Gump, for example, and be nominated for an award. And then there was reason for me as an everyday viewer to want to jump in and watch your show because I get to see the actors I love. I might get to hear the songs I loved. I remember, anybody who was old enough when Titanic came out, you'll remember like the chokehold that My Heart Will Go On had on a nation. And so everybody tuned in to the Academy Awards to watch Celine Dion sing that song, Wearing the Heart of the Ocean. Like the Academy Awards used to be a cultural moment because the movies that had filled our minds and we had given our money to them and we had stayed obsessed with them for almost a year, they were now being awarded. And so, yeah, it was a different thing years ago. And I know they've taken the time to try and include more things. It's not my thing. And then, of course, we have to add to that how traditionally Caucasian the awards have been. Remember a couple years ago, the whole Twitter thing with hashtag Oscars so white, when no person of color was nominated, I think, or definitely nobody won. And after that, the Academy, took some steps to make sure that they had different people in office and on the board. But yeah, so all of those things combined, I'm not a fan of the Academy Awards. I know Beyonce performed and I was not and have not been in an emotional state to watch that yet. So I'm saving that one. So I know she performed, but yes, I did not watch, was not watching, was drifting in and out of sleep when I was also scrolling on TikTok. So I was like, and I saw videos consistently being uploaded talking about the slap. And after those videos were uploaded, of course, people were doing skits. Folks be fast on TikTok. Boy, they be fast, but it's easy. You just pull out your phone. But they started doing skits and they started giving their 2 cents and they started weighing and measuring in and whatever. And the thing that got me about it was the different takes people were having on it. You had some people who were like, as he should. As he should. When Chris Rock thought it was funny to call his wife, who suffers from alopecia, G.I. Jane. And what was so cute about that is a lot of people on TikTok are very young. They were like, who's G.I. Jane? But when Chris Rock thought that would be a funny joke, Will Smith said it is not a funny joke and went and handled business. And then people started saying, actually, Will Smith is an abuser. That was assault. He only did that because he's in a narcissistic relationship, and she made him feel like he did, you know. There were lots of diagnoses of various psychiatric issues that Will Smith might have. There were, questions about why he didn't get up and why he wasn't escorted out after it happened. I thought it was ironic that Trevor Noah responded, "Whoa, this wasn't scripted," and I was confused. I was like, "Aren't you the host of the show? What happened?" But that's actually he's supposed to host the Grammys. But the reason why I thought his voice is ironic in the whole thing is because Kanye West got pulled from the Grammys because they ain't want Kanye to do nothing crazy. So I was just like, I bet they did not expect that from Willard. But all that being said, very soon this news and this information came pouring in, and I was just looking at all of it. And I found that every time I watched the slap, I smiled. You want to know why? I have two reasons, really. The first reason lines up with this young lady's post. This is a girl that has a social media presence. She calls herself blkgrltragic. I don't know what her real name is. She's on TikTok. She is on Instagram. And she has a podcast. And she posted this last night. And, there are some shared experiences of Black women that I wish I didn't have. Yeah, when she posted this, I was like, a lot of times when this happens to young Black women, we are our own defense. And it doesn't even happen always like with, you're at school and people make fun of you, so on and so forth. It can be in your own home. I don't know how many times I have seen videos, TikToks, tweets, people talk about, when they first went natural in front of their fathers, their grandfathers, their mother, and based on that person's feelings about natural hair, they are critiqued, they are made fun of, they are often asked, is your hair done or what? And it all comes down to this. The relationship between Black women and hair is so tightly connected to the relationship between Black women and how desirable and how accepted we feel in society, that when NDRE came out with that song, "I Am Not My Hair," I'm sure we all jammed to it and we all loved it. Woo, it's great. But if you're being honest with yourself, it's a little bit of a lie. Hair is so much a part of our existence as Black women, both being criticized for it and celebrated for it. And so, again, when I heard Chris Rock make that comment or that he had said that to her, I wondered to myself, why would he think it's okay to signal a Black woman out about her hair in this predominantly white environment? Oh, that's because that's what Black men do. And so then when I saw a Black man stand up and slap the grin off his face in defense of this woman, I felt liberated. I felt like somebody had gone back to middle school and slapped all them kids for me. I felt like anytime a man has ever made a sideways remark about what he thinks my hair looks like or what this or that, I took that slap and I applied it to a lot of different situations in my life where, once again, I've had to stand up for myself. And I want to say this too. Chris Rock should have known better because years ago, he made a documentary called Good Hair. And he did it for his little girls because they felt badly about their hair. And he went all into researching the millions of dollars that Black women spend every year, the $1 million Black hair industry. He went all the way back to the roots of Black hair care with Madam C.J. Walker. He went into beauty salons and he went into barbershops. He did interviews with celebrities where they talked about why they wear weave, He should have known how important hair is to the politics of desirability when you're talking about Black women. But at the end of the day, he's still a comedian. He's still a Black comedian. And Black women and the story of our hair and how it looks and how it doesn't look, still an easy joke. And so for that reason, I had no pity for Chris Rock. And watching Will do what he did, I was like, I like it. And I understand it's unprofessional, assault, bibbity bobbity boo, but I'm not really worried about those things, which brings me to my second reason for feeling the way I felt. There's been a lot of talk in the media recently about Will and Jada's relationship, about their polyamory, about whether she cheats on him, about the things that she might say out loud about their partnership, about what he might do on his side of things. And there's been a lot of talk and he's been sharing a lot. And I've talked about some of his sharing here on this channel. How I'm like, whoa, is that maybe a little too much? I don't know. Maybe we think about it. But I remember the episode of Red Table Talk where him and Jada were talking about, what happened with her in August. And they basically said, we've made the decision to stay in this thing. We're committed for life. And I think at the end they went bad marriage for life and like did a fist bump. And to me, as a single woman, that is so profound. Not that I want a bad marriage for life. And by the way, I think they said that because of Bad Boys. He was getting ready to release Bad Boys 2. But the idea that you can be so loved or so needed by someone that no matter how you might embarrass them, no matter how they might embarrass you, no matter how y'all might fight and come back together and have to work through issues, they're not giving up on this because they made a commitment to you. I think in today's modern day dating world, any of us who have dealt with hookup culture, any of us who have dealt with people that are flaky, I recently watched a TikTok where a man got on, she played his little voice recording or whatever from Hinge, but she played it. And he basically was like, hey, and she said, hi, how are you? And he sent her a voice note back and he said, I'm doing great. He said to her, listen, I know that, it says you want a relationship and that means you're probably not down with just hooking up. And, he was like, you got something in between your legs that is very important to you. And that's fair. But I've got something in my wallet that's important to me. And so if you're not willing to go in your legs and I'm not going in my wallet, as long as we're clear on that. So yeah, we can hang out and chill. And I'll pay for me and you pay for you and we see where it goes. But I just wanted to let you know that up front. If you're going to try and finesse me for my money and what I have, that's not going to happen. And I was like, that is a sign of the times. That is a sign of the times. That is a sign of how men are looking. And I've already talked about this in other videos, but it is a sign of how men are looking at how they should be asked to share their resources and their time with women and really saying, I don't want to do that type of stuff anymore. So, and I see a lot of things like this online, a lot of these types of conversations. And for me personally, what I always note is that these men are not men who are leading with love in any way, because if they were looking for someone to love or trying to love them and not just focused on, oh, what's between your legs and that was in my wallet, they just wouldn't have that frame of mind and that way of thinking. And so seeing Will stick with Jada the way he has and her stick with him, I'm just like, I don't know if those things are still possible for people. I just realize how rare that is. And then on the other part of that, once again, going back to as a person who's had to stick up for herself, who's been the only one in the room that maybe heard what somebody said to me. There was somebody who tweeted, Judd Apatow, he's this director, and he tweeted, what's wrong with being called G.I. Jane? And this just shows that he's really culturally ignorant and incompetent, because he was like, G.I. Jane is beautiful. Yeah, when she's a white woman with a shaved head, but a black woman with a shaved head, it's a different reality. And even though Jada looks great, it carries with it a different weight. Also, the way that she went about getting a shaved head. Somebody responded to Judd and they were like, yo, she has alopecia. He was making fun of an illness. That's really the issue. Not only are you unaware of the cultural significance of having shorter or having no hair and what that carries in the Black community if you're a woman, but also this is the result of an illness. So you're just ignoring everything. But his point was, nobody should be that angry. To that, I just say there are certain situations where I've had to take up for myself, and I wish there was somebody there to get angry with me or angry in spite of me. I've been in situations where someone thought he was joking and making jokes at my expense, and nobody else in the group wanted to speak up for me because everybody is friends with this person. And I don't really want to be seen as being harsh or not feminine or rude or a bitch. So I'm just like, and trying to take it in stride. And one time I had to snap old buddy up. I had to, because if I hadn't have, it wouldn't have stopped. And I think because I was a woman, this person felt entitled to be able to say the things they were saying. And I often used to think, like, I wish I had a man there who was like, what'd you say to her? No, what'd you say? When you do care about somebody and you love them, there is that primal sense there to protect them. And sometimes it doesn't even make sense. I dated this one guy. It was a horrible, horrible relationship. He was very much in love with his ex and resented anybody that wasn't her. We shouldn't have been together. Weren't together very long. But a lot of times he would tell me stories. Oh my God, she left me and she went and married somebody else and she this, she that. And I would listen because I'm stupid, but I would listen to him and I would even try and like help him work through some of those feelings. I'd be like, well, she's gone. She's not here anymore. And we are on a date. So, and at one point in time, I made a joke at her expense. And I was like, well, at least I'm not such and such. When I tell you that man turned around and looked at me until I apologized to a woman who wasn't even in the car, somebody who had broke up with him years before, who was married and had a child with somebody else. I hit a chord so deep in him, talking about someone that he still so fiercely loved. And I remember thinking, he doesn't feel this way about me. And so this is going to end really soon, but I want this. I want somebody who's like, you said, what about her? Okay, let me. When you're in the world, woman, man, child, whatever it is, there is nothing like knowing that somebody has your back. And one of the things that scares me as a single, unpartnered woman as I continue to move through life is that once my support system goes, so like my dad, for me, he is that person that will fly across the country and make sure everything's all right. He is that person. One time I got sick on campus when I was at the University of North Texas and my family lives in Houston. He picked up the phone and he asked me what was going on. You know how little kids are when a parent says like, hey, are you okay? What's wrong? He asked me what was going on and I just started crying. And he said, okay, bet. He's like, why don't you go to sleep? Go sleep. Yeah. So I hung up the phone. I went to sleep. And the next morning I wake up and I hear a knock at my dorm door. And I go to the door and it's my dad at the door. So he had driven from Houston to Denton that morning in his work clothes to take me down the street to the student health center so I could go to the doctor. Took me back up to my room after once I got my antibiotics and went to work in Houston. Whenever I think about that level of support and I think about my life and the people who have come into my life, the men who have come into my, I know like when my dad goes, that's it. That's it. I'll never see that again. I better soak it up now and I'll be trying to. And I think for a lot of women who have been blessed to have a parent like that, whether it's your dad, it's your mom, or have a brother or when we look at like the partnership, the dating world, it's very, very depressing and disheartening to know that level of support, knowing somebody has your back, like regardless, like if there's something wrong with you, their world stops and they got to fix it. It's hard to come by. So when I saw Will immediately say, he said, what? Excuse me, and go handle business on account of his wife, I just felt so many things. And a lot of them were really good things. And so when I saw people saying things like he should have been banned from the show, he's an assaulter, I was like, well, once again, we have folks coming at things from different angles, but this was definitely the angle I came at it from. I don't know if they'll invite him back again. Good for him. He won his Oscar. He might not ever want to come back, but I just know in that moment, he won something with me. And I have nothing else negative to say about his relationship with Jada. I have that because I don't know anything to begin with, but in that moment he proved, like just like they said at that red table, we don't care what's been going down. We've committed to each other for life, and that is something that I respect. Unless you're in a situation, because people were saying like we could tell he's abused and that's why he felt he had to. We're not in the relationship. We don't know, but I just know that seeing somebody just immediately jump into action when someone was making fun of his partner, his female partner, his Black female partner, especially where her hair was concerned, warmed my heart, touched my spirit, healed my soul. And that's how I feel about that. So I will be putting this take into the world and I'll probably get eaten up for it by the people who are like, no, violence is never the way. And that's fine. I saw a video today that's like, you got to make sure and find your echo chamber. Like, say what you got to say. Make sure the people that understand you align with you. And those are the folks you worry about. And sometimes, it's important to get what other people are saying. But sometimes, like, your truth and how you feel about something. So here's hoping that whoever watches this understands where I'm coming from. Thanks for watching.